tell you a little story about a little guy who beat the federal government, a little guy who beat the EPA. And let me tell you something, folks. When the government knocks on your door, it is a scary thing. When they start threatening you with fines every day that will ruin you, it is a scary thing. It takes unique people to stand up to this. In the Washington Times, Valerie Richardson. You may remember this story because we talked about it at some length. A Wyoming rancher facing $20 million in fines for building a stock pond on his own property. Let me repeat. A Wyoming rancher facing $20 million in fines for building a stock pond on his property has settled his lawsuit with the Environmental Protection Agency in a deal that allows him to keep his watering hole and his money. But just think about that. So he gets the status quo, and that's a victory. In a case that drew national attention, the EPA ordered Andy Johnson in January 2014 to tear out the pond that he had built on his own property or pay $37,500 per day in fines for what the agency described as a violation of the Clean Water Act, even though stock ponds are exempt from the federal law and he had obtained the necessary state and local permits. Shouldn't the people who brought this down on Mr. Johnson be prosecuted and feel what it's like? In a settlement agreement announced today, Mr. Johnson agreed to plant willow trees and temporarily limit livestock access on a portion of the pond, what his attorneys described as a win for the Johnson family and a win for the environment. Mr. Johnson had accumulated more than $20 million in fines for his stock pond. While fighting the agency's order, but under the settlement, the Johnsons will pay no fine, said the Pacific Legal Foundation attorney Jonathan Wood. They will not lose their property. They will not have to agree to a federal jurisdiction or federal permit, which would have surely entailed onerous conditions. In effect, the government will treat the pond as an exempt stock pond in exchange for Andy further improving on the environment benefits he's already created. The next family that finds itself in our situation, facing ominous threats from the EPA, can take heart in knowing that many of these threats will not come to pass, said Mr. Johnson in a statement. If you, like us, stand up to the overarching bureaucrats, they may very well back down, unquote. This is one of the reasons I will never give up my principles, folks. Not for any candidate, not for any election, not for anybody, and neither will many of you. This government is utterly out of control. Who's going to control the EPA? Who's going to slash the EPA? Which candidate? What are they going to do exactly? Well, Hillary will grow it. We know that. Okay, what else is going to be done? We don't know, do we? Now, Mr. Johnson sued the EPA last year after the agency refused to withdraw its compliance order, even after he commissioned a report from the environmental experts concluding that the pond was exempt and provided numerous benefits, such as habitat for migratory birds, fish, and wildlife. Let's pretend it provided no benefits. Who the hell's business is it? It's his property. He wants to put a stock pond on it. Also involved in Mr. Johnson's case were the Mountain States Legal Foundation in Denver and the Bud Phelan Law Firm in Cheyenne. EPA officials have said they were trying to resolve the issue with Mr. Johnson. You lying. This agreement is the result of constructive dialogue between EPA and Mr. Johnson to resolve compliance issues identified by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in 2012. EPA spokesman Nick Conger said Monday in an email. Look how it's so easy for them because they're unaffected by this stuff. When you're a radical and you don't actually produce anything, and you use the power of government or the power of a lawsuit to harm other people who are trying to protect what they've created, this means nothing to you. You're absolutely inhumane. Mr. John, and by the way, I'm tired of these attacks on private property by government. I am tired of it. If somebody has private property and they want to put a pond on it, so be it. If somebody starts a business and they want to locate it overseas, so be it. If somebody starts a business overseas and wants to bring it into America, so be it. Who the hell are these Republican or Democrat, populist, nationalist, socialist, or whatever, to tell us what to do? Mr. Johnson had wanted to litigate the case, but agreed to the deal because it was too good to refuse. And if we could say anything to the EPA, Mr. Johnson says, this was about more than just a pond. This was about a family of good, hard-working Americans who were willing to fight to the end for what they believed in. And good for Mr. Johnson. And we want to thank him. But this administration's not done. Nationalizing the suburbs, attacking ExxonMobil and other producers of oil and natural gas, trying to shut down coal mines. How the hell do they think we're going to live without energy? These liberal slobs, they don't go without energy. In fact, they use more than their fair share, quote unquote, don't they?